Welcome back. Today we're looking at rounding decimals to one decimal place and rounding decimals to two decimal places. Right? Now, what we'll be looking at first is the rounding of decimals to one decimal place. So we have the number 12 and 43 hundredths or 12.43, and we're going to round that number to the nearest one decimal position, to the first decimal position. And the first decimal position is your tenths position. Your first decimal position is your tenths position. So this is your tenth position. And just like when we are rounding other numbers, we will look at the position after that position to identify whether or not we round the number up or we round the number down, right? And down does not mean that we're going to go in a different direction, because 12.43 or 12 and 43 hundredths, we have it between a certain number. So 12 and 4, because we're running to one decimal place, the number would be 12.4, right? Or 12.5, right? So 12.43 is between 12.4 and 12.5. So I go again. 12.43 is between 12.4 and 12.5. So we're going to see whether or not we are rounding it off to the first, to the position here, or we're rounding it here, going up. And to do that, we look at the hundredths position. So when you're rounding to the nearest, to the first decimal place or to one decimal place, we're actually just rounding off the tenths position. So what we're actually doing is rounding off to the tenths position, and we're looking at the hundredths place to tell us whether or not we should round it off to the closer one or to going up. Now let's get into it. So looking at the tenths position, we're doing the same thing that we do before. Is it 5 or more or less than 5? And if you look at the hundredths position, we have the numeral 3 there, right? And we already know that 3 is less than 5, so that is suggesting that we should round down or put it to the closer number. And the closer number here would have been 12.4. Now, we do not write any zero here because we are rounding to one decimal place. You just want to show that one decimal place. We don't write a zero there to hold any position. This is 12.4 to one decimal place. We do not put in the other decimal places. One decimal place, and that is all, right? So let's go on to this one here. We have 123.58 or 123 and 58 hundredths, and we're going to round that off to one decimal place. Now again, we look at the hundredths position because we basically round off to the tenths, rounding off the tenths, right? And if you notice, we also bring back the whole numbers. So it does not mean that we leave off the whole numbers either. Every digit before the tenths, before the hundredths position will come back, right? And that's what you're supposed to be paying attention to here. So we're not just running off decimals and only the decimal we're focusing on. We're bringing back every digit before the hundred position, right? So here we have 8, and this 8 is 5 above 5, right? And because it's above 5, we're going to round it up. And we know that 1, 2, 3.5, 8 is between 1, 2, 3.5 or 1, 2, 3.6. So we're wondering where should we go? So because of where the number that is in the hundredth position, we know that we're going to go up. So we are going this direction here. Up is that way, 123.6, and that's our answer there. 1, 2, 3.6. That's your answer right there for rounding to the first or to one decimal place, rounding off to the 10th position. That's what we are basically doing. Just keep it in mind. One decimal place, rounding to the 10th position, rounding off to the 10th position. Right? So we go to this one, 26.75 or 26 and 75 hundredths. And again, we're looking at the hundredths position, right? We see that it's 5. So it's 5 or more, we go up. So we're going to go up. So this 7 now here becomes 8. So because we are going up, it becomes 8. So the answer now becomes 26 because we have to bring back all the numbers before the hundredths. So 26.8 would be your answer here because you have to round it up because it's 5 or more. So that's rounding to one decimal place. That's rounding to one decimal place. Now we're going to look at rounding to two decimal places. And basically what we are saying, we're going to round off the number to the first hundredths, right? To the hundredths position. So we're rounding decimals to two decimal places. We're looking at rounding numbers into the hundredths position, right? So we're going to be focused on the numbers that are at the thousandths position to tell us whether or not we are supposed to go up or we are supposed to go down, right? Now, looking at the hundredths position, this is your hundredths position right here, and this here is your thousandths position, right? So let me see if I can put a T there. So all of that is in line. So that's your thousandths position, thousandths. Now, identifying that, we're going to be focusing on these numbers because it's going to tell us whether or not these numbers here will change or they will be the same. The hundredths position will change or they will be the same. I can put the H right here. So that's your hundredths position, right? So I'm just using these as just an example. We don't want to confuse it with the whole numbers, but I'm just putting it there for you to just keep that line and that understanding. So this is a thousandths position, this is a hundredths position. So we're looking at the thousandths position to identify whether or not we are going to run it up or run it down. So we look at them doing the same thing. So 6 here is found in the thousandths position, right? And because 6 is above 5, we are going to run it up. That means that this 0 now is going to become the next number going forward, which is 1. So your answer, and as I said before, we bring back everything in front of the thousandths position. So just like what we did here, where everything came back before the hundredths position, right? Because as you know, it's 12.4. Notice the hundredths position is here. It's the same thing we're going to do here. So we're bringing back everything in front of the thousands. So your answer would be 0.01. 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. Because we are going to round it up. Let's look at this one also. Right? Here we have, looking at in the thousands position, is 4. And 4 is less than 5. Right? So that simply means we're going to keep the number the same. Right? We're going to keep the number the same. So in this case, we're going to bring back everything before the thousands position. 0.06. Everything stays the same because we're not going to change anything because it's rounding off there, right? So we're going to go to this number now, and this number now is a different number. It's kind of tricky, right? But let's get into it. So we look at the thousands position and we see 7, right? So 7 is suggesting that we're supposed to round it up. But if you notice here, we have 9, 9. Now, because we have 9 and 9 right here, if we're supposed to round it up, the next number would be 10. Now, 10 cannot hold here, right? So what will happen is that if we change this 9 to 10, that means that we're going to have a 0 here, right? And we're going to have to carry 1 here. And then this number now, we're going to add this 1 to 9 here, and it's going to give us 10. So we're going to have to put a 0 here, right? And we're going to have to add the 1 to the whole number. And that 1 plus that 5 will give us 6. So your answer, because you are rounding up, is going to be 6.0 0. That's how we get that answer. So let's go back through that. Because this number here is 7 and this here is 9, right? Because 7 is suggesting that we are supposed to round it up to a higher place, to a higher number, we are going to add 1 to the 9. So, but because we're adding this number going up is going to become 10, we're going to put our 0 down right here, and we're going to add the 1 over this side. Adding 1 to this 9 is going to change it to 10, right? So because we have changed it to 10, we're going to put down our 0 again and carry that 1 to the 1's position, adding that 1 to this 5, which makes it 6. So if you have another example like that, ever meet up on an example like that, that's what you're actually doing, right? So this here is now going to be 6, and that's it. Basically, 6.00 is 6. So that would be your result. So if when you're looking back at your work in class, you can use this video to help you to break down what it is that you were supposed to do in the work, all right, for classwork. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you could utilize it in understanding how to round decimals to 1 decimal place and round decimals to 2 decimal places. Thank you.